Welcome to Slaughterhouse Stories. I hope you enjoy the story I have for you tonight.
Don't worry, I'm your friend.
Don't worry, I'm your friend. I'll back you up to the very end. Our bond is like not quite any other. We're so close, you could be my girl brother. When we first met that day, and I found you lying on the ground, I told you it would be okay. At that moment, I knew we were bound. And then you went home, but I just couldn't stay away. You told me it was getting weird, but you couldn't keep me at bay. You still had to go to school, and I was wrapped tightly to you, like yarn on a spool. Our friendship shouldn't be taken lightly. You finally snapped at me, telling me to leave. Then you ran, leaving me be, leaving me alone to grieve. Though you were away, my mind couldn't bear. I thought about you all day. You don't know how much I care. I started thinking of ways of keeping you down here, alone with me, my dear. I started to follow you, even studied your diet. I think for a while you knew, now about keeping you quiet. You approached me one afternoon, threatened to call the cops. I told you to look to the moon. You turned, asked what? Your neck in knots. I admit I hit you harder than I originally thought. Out in my basement you must charter. Look at this nice rope I bought. You're finally awake. Upside down you hang. In a dark basement you bake. You hear an accidental clang. Oops, I said. I had dropped my knife. Almost cut off my foot. That would have ruined my life. I only want to be your friend. You say you don't roll that way. Friends to the end. I'm going to make you stay. You looked scared. Said you were sorry. We'll start over. Our friendship to mend. I whispered, don't be scared, Molly. I grabbed your throat. Friends till the end. Well, that was a year ago. Looking back on it, I do regret. So fast your life did go. We could have married, I bet. However, you're still here. Sitting here next to me. Just as beautiful, my dear. A happy couple will be. Though the stitches are deterring, sleeping with you isn't bad. I find playing with them alluring. I hope at me you're not mad. More than friends we became, at the moment I heard your name. Regardless, don't worry, I'm your friend. And we'll be together, to the very end.
In a dream.
In a dream, I ate and ate delightful meals on a silver plate. Another dish laid before my eyes. It was a meal no one could despise. A spherical object, I gasped in its sight. It was about the size of a small melon, to my delight. I touched it in a bit, and began to feel. It felt so soft, so smooth, so surreal. The inside was hard, but my hunger knew no bounds. I knocked on its exterior, and it made no sounds. The inside was not hollow, that much was true. Filled with delectable fruit, my hunger grew. I picked it up, drew it closer to my face. I took in its aroma, my mind began to race. Just like that I went in and took a bite, but I couldn't break through with all my might. I weakened the shell by gnawing on it a bit. I heard a crack and my eyes became lit. I gnawed some more, finally breaking through the shell. I took a big whiff and nearly dropped down and fell. It smelled like heaven, the greatest thing in existence. I couldn't hold it in anymore. There was no more resistance. I dug my hands in and grabbed some fruit. The flavor indescribable, its finest attribute. I shoved it in my mouth, the feeling euphoric. It was the greatest thing I'd ever tasted, truly historic. I dove in for more. I began to crave. I desired to eat this fruit till I reached my grave. I devoured it in seconds. I was covered in juices. The bottom of the shell remained. It had no real uses. What was left of the fruit sat there, laying on my plate. The greatest meal I'd ever had. There was no debate. There was still some fruit left, to my surprise. I began to pick it up and let it meet my eyes. I tilted it down and drank what remained. I then tore the fruit apart in two, seeing the strength that I had gained. Sadly, in a flash, the dream had already ended. I was lying down, trying to remember a dream so splendid. I looked over, happy I was with my son in bed. However, I nearly died of fright when I saw his torn apart head. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed tonight's story, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time,
Stay spooky.